Welcome to the Chris and Sam podcast. Pull up a bar stool and join us for a random conversation, guaranteed to make you think or your money back.
Okay, we're going to start the podcast now.
Yep. Hey guys, welcome to the Chris and Sam podcast, the podcast about randomness, technology, and life. It's got Chris and myself.
Hey.
And we're two Kiwis, and we decided to make a podcast. And this is it. So,
well, that's exciting. That's really going to get us a lot of listeners. Just that.
Well, I'm sorry. We are hunkered down in the shed /
garage under the house.
Yeah, the podcast studio, which is
and we're wearing not comfortable clothing because.
No one wants to see your man boobs, Chris. We are streaming this live on Periscope, and Chris just
flashed. I flashed Periscope.
He's upset someone. I don't know who. I don't even know who's there, if anyone at all.
I'm not getting any hearts, put it that way.
Yeah, you're going to get some exits, I think.
Yeah, no, we still got somebody there. Move that thing. Okay, so we've just done our weigh-in, our first weigh-in for Diet Bet, dietbet.com. No, they aren't sponsoring us, but
they should be.
They should be, but check it out. So what happens with Diet Bet is you can get a whole bunch of people together. And they do this weigh-in. They have analytics, which Sam reckons is some grubby old guy.
No, not analytics. They approve.
Oh yeah, what do you call it? Algorithm? Yeah. Our algorithm. That's John's middle name, and John sits in the corner and looks at the photo and goes, "Yeah, that's about right about your weight and stuff." But anyway. So it's a pretty cool app, and you put your weigh in, and you've got to take a photo of yourself, hence the not wearing much in the way of clothes.
No, because you have to...
So, I was just in shorts. Now I've put tracksuit pants and this on just for the podcast. So my weight at the moment is 93.6. My goal weight in 4 weeks' time is 89.9. And this particular bet, this whole bet we're doing, is a bunch of podcasters from around the world. I think we're the only New Zealand ones in it.
So far, if you want to join, you can go and have a look at Podbet and just type in podcasting, and you can look at that bet.
Yeah, Diet Bet, not Podbet.
Yeah, Diet Bet.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's called Diet Pod is the hashtag that we're using.
Hashtag, yep. So
it's starting in just under 3 hours, but you've got about you can join late. So it's all good. I'm coming in at a healthy 108.6 kilos, and you only have to lose 4% to get the money back.
Which is why I'm the one on the Periscope.
Yep. And that's a bit rough. For this, I have to get down to 104.3, so we'll see how all that goes.
And your goal is to get under 100 overall?
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Carry on. So we're going to try the slow carb diet. Has anyone ever tried a slow carb diet? Particularly those on Periscope now. If you have, let us know, because I haven't tried it, and it's doing my head
in. Chris hasn't
like
read up about it at all either.
Yeah, and so Sam's just bought all those beans and stuff for starting to eat that, and I'm like, I've got plenty of beans, so I have it with my rice, and he's like, you can't have rice anymore. I'm like,
what about hash browns?
What about hash browns?
No, they're out, Chris.
Nope.
Except for cheat day, whatever they call it, Saturday.
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting tubs of ice cream for Saturday.
Gorging. Now,
anyway, that's you will get progress on this over the next few weeks.
Yep.
On our Diet Bet, and we'll be tweeting that on the Chris and Sam Pod,
which is our Twitter account.
Chris and Sam Pod, on Twitter. So there you go. Anyway, carrying on, Sam. What are we talking about?
Well, I was just going to say we didn't have a podcast on Sunday, so I think it's the second time since we started that we've missed a published date.
Yeah.
And there was a reason behind that, actually.
Yes, it was a pretty epic reason from my point of view. The reason that we did not podcast last weekend is because I felt like I was involved with that film more than 12 hours a day, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
It was very intense. It seemed more full on than what I was expecting.
Yeah,
I guess.
Have you done a full day You did with Red on the Green with us, eh?
Yeah. Well, I was only an extra on that.
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
So that wasn't too bad, but
different level of commitment with this one.
Well, I think, and everyone sort of agreed this is the first time that a lot of the guys that do all the stuff that we know, it was sort of, it wasn't really a it is multi-location, but just based at different locations where we had people being run backwards and forwards and had parking considerations to think about.
Thanks for the hearts, guys. Yeah. Oh, so we had... This was very much more a pro shoot than we're talking about. Sorry, I'm just going to refer to Periscope now. You're on the we're recording the Chris and Sam podcast, episode 43.
Here in New Zealand. And right now, we're just talking about the film that we're shooting in the weekend. So it's called Only Humane. It's destined, hopefully, for the festivals, international film festivals. We spent 3 days shooting. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I should say. It was more professional than anything we've done before, right? Because we had RTs, we had a bass, we had a shuttle driver. We had a professional cinematographer with us.
Yeah, we had a professional cinematographer that cost us a couple of grand, which was a cheap rate, a couple of grand. It's being shot on a red. For those of you that are into film know what that is. We had drone pilots. We had a crash car.
Yeah, stunts.
Stunt guy. So it was fun.
Hey guys, Sam here. This is the bit of the podcast where I accidentally pressed the keyboard and the recording stopped. You missed about 10 seconds. Chris was talking about the weather, nothing too exciting. Let's get back straight into it.
So it would cycle through all of that. And so we're filming this scene that's going to take, I don't know, a couple of minutes in the film. And the road's going to magically go dry, and then it's magically going to be wet again, and then it's magically going to be dry. I just hope that edits together okay.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see.
We'll see how we go. That's the phrase for that is, we'll fix it in post. Actually, I'm going to let's look at Sam for a while.
Hi, how's it going?
Oh, let's move that there.
Okay.
Anyway.
Is there anyone even watching?
Oh yeah, we've got one now. We were up to 2 or 3 before.
Oh, it's
we had some hearts.
It's amazing. We need to do a podcast really early in the morning and try and capture some of more of those Americans.
Yeah, because they're all on Periscope. So yeah, Periscoping. We want to say anything about that? We talked about that last time. Really.
We spoke about that in the last episode, and just Google Periscope and you'll learn all about it.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been following a few things. The only thing about Periscope that's sort of starting to bug us, I guess, is the whatever, the
I've
whistle.
turned them off.
That happens like a lot at 4 o'clock in the morning when the Americans are all on there.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. So I've woken up and I've blearily just listened to them. I've turned it on. I've been lying in bed and watching them. So yeah, it works.
It works. There was an amazing stat I saw today for... What's that one I showed you with the 4 people? Was that Blab? B-L-A-B?
Oh, Blab IM. Blab.im. Yeah.
It was something like over the last 24 hours, they had over 1 million and something hours worth of footage broadcast on that.
Wow.
So that's very similar to Periscope. You have 4 people on it. It runs in a browser, and you can try and take one of the 4 people's positions, and the main person that started it can say yes or no. So you can drop people in and out of the conversation.
So it's like a panel discussion hot seat. Yeah. So you can,
cool.
You can get rid of everybody except the guy that started it, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I haven't played with that. We haven't played with that, but we might give that a go at some point.
Yep, we'll have a look at it.
Yeah. So we can test it, so you don't have to.
No. So because we didn't record on the weekend due to being so busy with the filming, and we are filming next weekend.
Can we tell some stories about the filming?
Yeah, why not? Let's go. I was just actually going to say this podcast might be a little bit longer than normal.
Yeah.
Because we got quite a bit to cover, and
this is a fill-in because we will be filming next weekend as well. So the chances of us getting our regular Sunday episode out is like...
Well, this one will go out on Sunday. That's not a problem.
Oh, right. So we've missed a week. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
that makes
we've
sense.
missed 1 week. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't think we'll jam an extra one in.
All right. No, that makes perfect sense now. This is Chris not being very clever.
Chris is tired.
I've been tired since Friday.
You haven't recovered.
Saturday night. So anyway, let me just switch that back to me. Yeah. Okay. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I should say. We won't worry about that. Monday morning. So Monday morning, I thought I was going to get a lion because we had to be at the zoo at 9.
And
we were just using the car park.
We were just using the car park.
Don't worry, there was no zoo animals.
We weren't filming at the zoo. We were filming a crash up the road a bit, but there was nowhere to safely park there, not multiple vehicles anyway. We were supposed to meet at the zoo at 9 o'clock, so I'm like, sweet, a sleep in. I really need to sleep in. And I get a phone call at 6:30 in the morning. Our film guy, cinematographer, DP, was sick. And he's going to make it to the main shoot, but he was going to go in early and do this car crash scene with Adam. So Adam said...
Adam's the director, if you want.
Adam's the director. So Adam rings me and says, "Oh, Joe's sick. I've got to do this car crash. I'm just going to set up the camera and drive the car at it." I'm like, "Well, that's not going to work. You need to be behind the camera. I'll come around." He's a little bit out of town. It's a 20-minute drive from here. So I jumped out of bed, freaking took off out there. Looked rough as guts. I pretty much did all weekend anyway. So I get out there and we started this car. We had an old 1986 Toyota Corolla that we bought for the crash car. And we're looking at this hedge and it looked quite dense. And we said, if we drive a car into this, it probably won't go any further than sort of this much, sort of part way towards the centre of the hedge. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So he had the tripod outside and he goes, "That's not going to work." So he grabbed the camera and he climbs into the hedge, right? And he's got the camera and he goes, "This should be fine.
Be fine. Drive towards me.
Drive towards me and crash into the hedge." So I get the car. I didn't back it up too far. It wasn't like I got a flying start or anything. But the last words I said to him was, "Don't flinch." And I took off at the thing, spun it up, straight into the hedge. I had to hit the brakes just before I went in. So I actually skidded into the hedge because I could not hit the brakes going into the hedge.
Yeah.
And which was probably just as well because I stopped less than a foot in front of his camera. And it was just as well his wife wasn't watching.
I think he said that as well.
Yeah. We found out later the neighbours were watching. But yeah, to give him full credit, he did not flinch. And the footage looks pretty good. So that was good. There was a big hole in his hedge outside his house, but that's cool. So that's one of the stories. You got something to relay about the filming?
We used the services of some trained dogs, which was pretty cool. And one had to play dead, and the other one had to run in front of a car while the car was coming towards it, and then was covered in blood. But on top of all that, we had a fake dog that our special effects dude made for us. Did you know that was coyote teeth and jaw and eyes?
Yeah,
So
I did. Yeah, he got it from a
pretty cool.
taxidermy in the US.
Yeah. So had that, and I had to be in a car. Now, we just had the fake dog head. The rest of its body was made out of a paint bucket and bits of wood and a lot of duct tape.
Lots of duct tape.
And it was all under a blanket to show, and it has to fall out of the car onto the child actor that we had. So, yeah, that was fun trying to get the shot of a fake dog landing on this child's face.
Yeah, and they wanted it so that the gelid, slobbery tongue of this supposedly dead dog lands on the child's cheek.
Yeah,
so you can imagine how hard this is.
Which isn't as easy as it sounds.
to do. It took ages to do that.
So we did that, and yeah, it was good.
Oh, and one of the other funny bits was we had the car swerving off the road to avoid a child. And so we took a couple of different angles of that and that sort of thing. And then we set up the camera in the car to get the driver's point of view, and the director's sitting behind, so the cinematographer and the director in the back seat of the car with the camera in between them on sort of a tripod-y thing, looking out the window, and the stunt driver's doing his thing, swerving off the road and doing it. Man, I wish we had cameras because his face, he was like going past. It was hilarious. So yeah. That was good fun. So all in all, the shooting was good. The shoot was good. We got all the stuff I think we needed, all the shots we needed. And like I said, the drones, we were a bit worried about the drones because it was so wet, but we got one drone, but we got that shot in the end. The RTs made a huge difference. It was a very professional I say professional for us. It was a very professional sort of shoot.
It was good.
Yeah, so that was cool.
And we have a lot of people to thank on this film now. I've got a list of all the people we've got to thank.
Yes.
Enterprise Cars gave us a car
There's lots of people.
Yeah, and Anyway, all right. So next topic on the Chris and Sam podcast.
If you were going to make... Oh, just like that, our flatmate's home. Or Chris has pressed the button inadvertently.
No, because it's in my pants. And I'm not wearing any.
Yeah, there's the door opening.
Say hello.
Not so keen. Ran
so
away
keen.
from you,
Right.
Chris. I was just going to say, if you were going to make a drug lab, where would you put it in? Or where would you make a drug lab? Would you try and do it under a dry cleaners? Is that what it was in Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Or,
Was it?
it was a commercial cleaner.
Was it?
Commercial laundry.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
commercial laundry. That's right.
Where would you do it? Because apparently someone's decided to put it into a car. But not just any car.
Yeah, I know.
They put it into a former police car in the boot.
Yeah. So
Because they thought no one would ever check on that.
that's such a Hamilton thing to do. So so these guys buy a second-hand, police car. It's been sold off, and they decide to turn it into a meth lab, a mobile meth lab made in a police car. Brilliant.
You know what you could be doing as you're driving around in your meth lab and things are being made?
What's that?
You could have like a craft brew.
A craft brew.
Yeah. And, because craft brew people just seem to be a weird lot, I don't really drink much, so I'm not really into the beer scene. But if no, leave it.
This is how much he doesn't drink.
That's my little bottle of drink.
That's lasted a month so far. Anyway.
I don't drink much. But if I did, I would probably be in the craft beer thing and I'll just be talking about it non-stop. But I'm not. But would you try a semen craft beer, Chris? And it's not human. It's made with bull semen.
Oh, okay. I thought you were...
Sorry, stags.
I thought you were talking about with an A, like a sailor's one.
No, it's... it's stag semen milked stout. So, would you give that a go, though?
No.
No? Just completely no?
No. I don't think so.
I don't know how I know...
A semen stout, no.
No, I don't know how I know this, but there is a semen cookbook that you can buy on Amazon.
Right.
Yeah, I saw a link somewhere. So
it's a bit like white bait, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Actually, yeah, really tiny white bait. What do they call white bait overseas?
I don't know if they have them overseas. Honestly, I've never heard of them anywhere.
Anyway, if you don't know what white bait is, Google it. I'm not going to explain it.
It's like big semen.
Yeah. Do you like white bait, though?
Yeah. I haven't had it for years and years.
Oh, yeah.
But,
that's great.
We used to have the white bait fritters when they were really white bait fritters.
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
fish
Back
and chip shop.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, at least, because Chris is really old. If you didn't know that already. Actually, following on from the craft beer, did you know New Zealand's first dry bar closed? What a surprise.
But how long did it last?
5 weeks.
5 weeks. I was like, but that only just opened.
It opened at 5 weeks ago, and it would open at midnight, and it would serve no alcohol at all. And apparently...
That was in K Road, eh?
Yep, which is a main street up in Auckland. And amazingly, it didn't work. Whoa. So they are now thinking about getting their liquor license and rebranding and reopening. What a bunch
We talked about on one of the podcasts, didn't we, a few weeks back? Did we talk about it on the podcast, or we just talk about it?
It's hard to tell sometimes because we talk so much because we're flatmates, and so half the time we can't remember if we've actually recorded the conversation or not.
Yeah.
And half the time we try not to talk about stuff, so we do have stuff to talk about on the podcast. So it's a fine line, guys.
Yeah. The sacrifice we go to give you this entertainment.
But we did watch some short films the other day. Do you want to describe Mall? You wrote because actually, I'll just step back a sec. There's a guy called Richard that I know, and I knew that he'd made a short film. That's what I'd been told, and I didn't realize what it was. And it's an animated short film he made himself, and it's called... I better get this right.
Biogenesis.
Yes.
A Biogenesis.
You can check that out on iTunes, actually. It's pretty cool, really cool. And it's been to a lot of festivals and won quite a lot of awards. And he made it in a shed.
And it's shared
4 years?
Yeah,
Was it? Something like that?
Yeah. Before they showed that on this television program we were watching, there was another short movie called More, which we had no idea what it was about, and Chris will now explain it to you. We don't want to ruin it, but I don't think that's going to be. I think it'll be hard to find.
So if you don't know what rugby is, you're going to be a bit lost here. But in rugby, there's a thing called a maul, and it was just that. That was the wording, MAUL, and it's where a group of people come up,
huddle together
and run over everybody else, basically with the ball nestled in there.
Yep. To gain
ground. So this guy wants to play rugby. He gets iced out from the team all the time. He's not allowed to go into the showers with them and all the rest of it. He's training really, really hard for it.
Yep.
And it turns out effectively that everybody else is a Invasion of the Body Snatchers type alien.
They all came from out of an egg.
Yeah. And then he gets... What happens to him? He gets attacked. They all jump on him. Next thing, he's in an egg, and they all vomit at it.
Oh, yeah, so they vomit blood
that was the
all
best
over
part. And then he hatches out. It is... But, I mean, I'm not doing it justice.
No, you're not. It's very strange. I'm hoping
it's incredibly weird.
If it's on YouTube, I'll share it. Hopefully I can find it.
Yeah, if we can find it, we will put it in the show notes. We will include the link to Abiogenesis in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll have links to everything.
And we will also see if we can get some photos of... What was it we wanted photos of? Not our way in photos, not having that.
I can't remember.
Photos from the shoot, anyway. Crashed car and stuff, I guess. So I've got Will Fleming on the line, and Will has a new podcast, the Will and Sean Bogus Podcast. So tell us a little bit about that, Will. What's that all about?
Thanks, fellas. Yeah, me and my pal Sean, we had this day where we thought, there's so many topics out there that we kind of know about but don't really, have time to learn about. For example, Chris, Sam, what do you do if you need a penis enlargement? I mean, what do you actually do? First of all, how do you know if your penis needs one? So this is just one example of this crazy new zany podcast where me and my pal Sean will find out for you.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that. No, that's cool. We'll definitely be checking that one out. Sam's way more interested in that one than I am.
Sam, if you jump online to boguspodcast.com, there's answers there for you. We call the clinic. We see what the options are. We call the sex shop. We ask them what their options are. And overall, I think you'll find the answer to the question that... I'll just tell you the answer. We're mostly all average.
That's what average means.
That's good to know.
That's right.
All right, thanks for that, Will. And we'll check that out.
Thanks, fellas. Love your podcast.
Oh, yeah, so we crashed a car on Monday. Oh, did we even talk about that?
We said we had a crash car.
We rolled it down the hill 5 times. Now, that sounds awesome, but it didn't go boom, 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 boom 5 times. It went boom, and then we'd lift it up and went boom.
Well,
and then we drove it right the way around the fields and brought it back up to the top of the hill and went boom.
It did one revolution and landed on its wheels again.
Yeah, so it went from wheels to roof to wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, 5 times. Individually. But we got some great footage. We had 3 cameras on it, like GoPros and stuff.
Yep.
On it. And we had 3 external cameras on it. 4.
Another GoPro, the one on the gate.
Oh, yeah, my GoPro. My GoPro was put in the path of it so that it would go over it. Now, I don't know if you know this yet, but...
Chris has the sacrificial GoPro.
Yeah, mine was... Because it's the oldest one, anyway. But Adam goes, he showed me the footage. He goes, because I said to him, have you got the settings right? Because I didn't know if it was 720 or 1080 or what I'd set it on.
They were fiddling around with the settings for quite a while.
I said, you get the settings? He goes, yeah, we've got all that. And because he was downhill of the car, it was the dangerous position. So it was like, set it and go. The first 3 rolls is a photo of his face. he didn't have it on video. He just clicked. He took a photo of his head. He goes, but we got one good one in the last roll.
The last one was the charm, eh? Like that was
no. So because Joe got good stuff on the last roll.
I did, and there's one. There's a camera inside on the seat looking at the side window, and as it rolls, it hits the ground, and the side window explodes.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Right in front of the camera. It looks great.
Excellent.
So that's cool.
Did I this is another...
So we'll get a photo of something of that
Yes.
car.
This is another story. I don't think I know I spoke to you about this, but I don't think it was on podcast. I was talking about hitchbot, which is a little robot that they've let out into the wild for the second time in its life. I think some Canadians let it go. And it sits on the side of the road, and it basically wants a ride somewhere. And you can pick up the robot and take it somewhere. It has got a place it needs to get to. So I think it lasted like a week, and then it got destroyed in Philadelphia.
It lasted 3 days in the States, I think.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. It has travelled across Europe. It's travelled across Canada. It's travelled, I think it travelled somewhere in Asia. And then they put it in America, and it lasted 3 days.
How long do you think it would... I don't think it would get destroyed in New Zealand. I think it would get stolen, and you'd never see it again. And someone would have it in their house, and you'd go around, and if you're having a drink or something, they'd be like, "Oh, bring out the bot," and they'd bring out this little robot, and they'd be, and you'd be like, "Why has it got a tinfoil hat on?" "Oh, it's got to block the GPS so they don't know where it is."
Yeah.
I can just imagine that.
I reckon they'd turn it into a bong.
Drill a big hole in the side and
just
jam this pipe in there. It's going great, guys. Going great.
I could see that happening in New Zealand. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, last week I lost my Logitech unifying receiver. Do you know what that is?
I have no idea what that is.
That's this little thing here.
Oh, the thing that makes your mouse move.
Yeah, if you got a wireless mouse, you plug that in, and the unifying ones mean anything unifying can control other ones that are unified. So anyway, I lost that somewhere between home and work or at work. I don't know. So that was quite annoying. So I was Googling...
So did you have to get a new mouse?
I've got two. One's upstairs, one's down here, but I've only got the one at the moment.
Right.
So I was Googling, about unifying receivers, and you can buy them in stores for like $20.
Oh, that's all right.
But the mouse only costs $16. So, why would you just buy that thing? But someone said, hey, 3 years ago on a forum, if you email Logitech, they might be able to help you out. They might have one. So I'm like, oh, yeah, sweet. So I email Logitech. I quite like most of their products. I've used a lot of their stuff over the years.
Yeah, same.
And I sent them an email and I said, hey, look, do you have spare parts and can I have a unifying receiver, or do you have them for sale? Oh, no, sorry, we don't have them for sale. But what we can do is we'll just lodge a claim against faulty workmanship or something, and we'll give you a refund. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I'm the one that lost the bit. There's nothing wrong with any of it, but we'll give you a refund. So I was like, okay. So they then sent back an email, and they said, oh, yeah, no worries, we can do that. Now, we use some weird money transfer system called Money something or other. I can't remember the last name of it. Now, they may not be in your area, but here's the website. Can you go and check? So, from what I can work out, they're in Australia all over the place. Where would you expect a money lending place to be in Auckland if they have minimum branches? Like, there's not many of them.
Well, it's either going to be Central or it's going to be South Auckland. It's it's going to be one or the other?
No. They have one little pokey branch, and I can't imagine what it would look like down in Upper Hutt. There's one in Upper Hutt, that's it. So I wrote back and I said...
Upper Hutt?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So I said, oh, well, thank you for the offer, but it's just too crazy. It's miles away. And then they came back and said, oh, no, well, that's okay. If you have the receipt, and I don't know if I have, and I don't know if I can actually be bothered, we can do a bank transfer, but it's going to take up to 14 days.
That's hilarious.
So they, want to give me a refund for a part that I lost.
See, now...
Which is crazy good customer service, but also a bit strange.
That is strange. So now you've got me wanting to do a bit of a rant time here.
Oh, rant time.
Rant time. Rant time. So, I did my Inland Revenue tax return, and it owes me money because Inland Revenue owes me money because I got made redundant at the beginning of the year, actually the 1st of April, which is the first day of our year. I got of our tax year. I got my, my redundancy pay, and they taxed it to the max, right?
Yes.
And then I didn't work for most of the year. I got a job the following 1st of March.
You barely work now when you've got a job.
Shh. So I did some part-time work. I got some part-time income. But yeah, so I got a decent few grand coming back to me.
Yeah.
So that's not what I'm ranting about. What I am ranting about is 2 years ago,
I used one of those Inland Revenue agent services. You know,
we have a lot of those popping up in New Zealand because
Heaps of
apparently
them.
people don't know how to use the internet and do it themselves.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, we'll get your thing. We'll just take $50, or I think mine was a $50 flat fee, and I think some of them are we'll take a percentage up to this amount or whatever.
Yeah.
So anyway, mine was I think it was 50, it might be 30, probably 50. I think $50 flat fee. So it's like, I haven't got time to work it out. I know I could do it, but I just can't be asked. So I'll get them to do it.
2 years ago.
This is 2 years ago, and they didn't do anything with my charity receipts. And I had like $500, $600 I'll give it to charity, and I had all these receipts. So I'm like, hang on, you got to put these in. Oh, that's just more work for us.
Yeah, because
Well,
they just want to do
paying you frickin' $50. That's the whole point. So I was really upset, and I said, nah, don't do it again. So last year, I don't think I did anything, but I had minimal stuff anyway. And then this year, I've got a refund, and I'm like, sweet. Guess where the refund went?
Dun, 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 dun.
It went to that bloody
Tax
refund
agent company.
Yeah, because they still had their bank account with it. So I get this phone call from this.
You didn't. I was there when you got the phone call, and you did not want to talk to them.
I know. Hey, it's I can't even remember what they are.
Amy
My income refunds or whatever it is. And I'm like, no, I'm not using you guys anymore. I don't really want to talk to you. I think I said that. I don't want to talk to you.
You did say that. It sounded really weird.
And she goes, I think you do want to talk to us. I'm like, why? She goes, because we've just had $4,000 put into our bank account in your name. I was like, oh, God. She goes, we can revert. What we'd normally do is reverse it back to Inland Revenue, and then they'll send it to you. It'll take a few weeks, or for $30 account fee, we can just transfer it straight to you now. And I was like, send it back to IRD, you rapacious. So wound up about that. Anyway, today I rang IRD and said, how long does it take? Because I was thinking these guys are just going to have it sitting there for ages.
Yeah.
They can't. IRD can't reclaim it back. They have to
It has to
be pushed from the other side.
Oh, okay.
So they have to send it back, and then IRD said you've just got to keep looking in your account. When it comes up with a credit there, ring us again, and we'll resend it to
the proper bank
account,
which
is now I've put in there. But that's my rant time. Why do these bastards charge all this money? And they're getting away with it, like $30
because they can.
Account fee for doing nothing.
No, but every year the IRD publishes that massive list in the newspaper, where you can look up with all those. How many people is it? Like 10,000 people that they owe money to, and they're sitting on $30 million worth of money, and none of these people have claimed it. That's how dumb people are. Some people are owed like $50,000. They must have big companies, or I don't know what the deal is, and they just have no idea. And every time I look at that list, nah, I'm never on the list. Why? Because I get paid salary.
I've never looked on the list.
I should paid. Check. Yeah, you should check. Here we go. Yeah. You should actually,
because I'm probably one of those people. I could totally see myself doing that.
Yeah. So,
changing the subject.
I will change the subject a little bit. I want to bring up the Codfather. Did I say cod or God? I said cod, as in fish. As in fish and chip shop. As in the Codfather fish and chip shop here in New Zealand.
Have you got the photo of that there? Can
you
show that on...
hang on. I'm just trying to find it. You just keep talking.
Yeah.
There's a fish and chip shop, and I can't even remember where it was, and I did read the story today.
Yeah, I wrote it. I said we got to talk about it, but I only really saw the headline. I never got around to actually researching by reading the story.
Well, that's not really your style. You just go, I read a headline, and if it's not contained within the headline, then I don't want to know about it.
Yeah, pretty much. But the Codfather, which is a pretty cool
it seems
name
catchy,
for a fish, fish and chip
you
shop.
think I can find it?
And it had a pretty cool logo, which was, a blue cartoon fish in a tuxedo or something. Very much obviously taking off the Godfather, the Codfather. And I thought that was pretty cool.
And they actually went through the process quite well.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, this is why you need to read the story, Chris. But there it is. I don't know if you can see it very well.
Yep.
So they got someone to design it, the logo, which is good. And It's in Martinborough, and they took over the struggling fish and chip shop. And
okay, Martinborough, just for those that don't know, outside of New Zealand, is a tiny little town.
Little pokey town. Cod is the signature dish, and they employed a graphic artist. They came up with the signs. They made inquiries with Intellectual Property New Zealand about the use of the name the Codfather. He was in the final stage of registering the Codfather trademark, and then, boom, they got a letter from Paramount Pictures lawyers opposing the application and asking them to stop using the Godfather stylization. So,
I got to say, I would think that that's good for the theatre, the film. You know what I mean? Like, every time somebody goes and has fish and chips, they're thinking, oh, yeah, The Godfather, I should watch that movie again.
So the thing with any of these stories is the comments. It's the comments that make or break a story. And
I'm going to stop the periscope because it's frozen.
Oh, it's frozen on me. Yay.
Yeah, so
Sorry, guys.
I can't even stop it. So, anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry. Technical issue with Periscope. Periscope is now kaput.
Dead. Or you're just looking at the ceiling. It's hard to tell. So, I mean, there's always two sides to every story, and what side are you on with this? Like, I think it's just stupid. Just let them do it.
Oh, dude, I think it does more. So there's two ways this is harmful, right? First way, I think there's no benefit in getting them to stop, right? So,
No.
like I said, they're reminding people of the film The Godfather. Yes, obviously it's tying into The Godfather. So they're reminding them of that, which is beneficial for the film.
Yes.
And secondly...
Which is what came out in 1970-something.
Yeah, and secondly, doing this just makes them look like assholes.
Yeah.
You know, like that's just damaging their brand, Paramount's brand, I think.
Well, some of these comments is just saying, country bumpkin naivety just doesn't wash with me. This is a blatant rip-off of someone else's IP. If they had hired a decent design company to design their brand, they would have been told this up front.
Really?
Yeah, and then the next comment, some awesome person is responsible for reporting this company to Paramount. Well done, you. Apparently there's minions and
how much of that was sarcasm?
It's hard to tell on that
Yeah,
one.
it really is. It could be totally
yeah.
sarcastic, or it could be...
Have a look at Minions and Me cleaning in Christchurch. Another absolutely shameless riding on the coattails of other people's hard work and intellectual property.
But hang on, when does a mashup or a meme become more than just the original? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they go. Actually, they get a bit antsy about that, so it'd be interesting to see if they try and take it to court, like if they say no. Because our friend Adam went to court with Apple, eh?
Yeah.
You remember that?
He took Apple to court. Yeah.
What happened?
'Cause why not?
No, what happened was they had a glitch on their website.
Yeah.
And they listed all the stuff for like 87 cents or something. And it was phone cases and accessories. And he brought, I don't actually know how much he brought, but he brought a lot. And they shipped it to him. And it was something like $900.
No, because it was a wrong price, and he rang them up.
Yes, and said,
And
is this
said,
correct?
hey, look, on your website, these things are listed at X price, which was ridiculous. Like, it was like cents and
It's like $900 worth of product for like $50 or something in the end.
Yeah. And he said, is this correct? And so he rang them. He got the guy's name.
Yes.
That he spoke to, and the guy said, yep, no, that's
and
all,
I think he
all
also
right.
had an email as well.
Yeah, I think he got something in writing too.
He's
so he's not
clever.
stupid. So, yeah, anyway, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and basically they said yes, and then right at the last second, they...
I know, it was after he ordered it.
But they didn't send it to him. They cancelled the transaction and refunded the money or something. And then he stepped in with the Consumer Guarantees Act. You know?
No, well, yeah, it's commercial law. So you've got invitation to treat, then you've got offer and acceptance.
Yes.
And because he had gone, they had to live with the deal. And they said, no, we don't. And he took him to court.
Yeah. And so representative didn't show from Apple for some reason. And he managed to have all his goods.
Yeah.
Cheap price.
Yeah, so that's Adam Crouchley from Up and Adam. Up and Adam. If you want to check out his photos and stuff. He's just come back from Samoa doing lots of
Has
tourist...
he come back?
I think... Well,
I
I
keep
don't
seeing
know.
photos from Samoa and I don't
He
even
might
know if
still
he's
be
in the
there.
country.
Talk about jammy. Samoan Tourist Board has flown him out there so that he can take photos for businesses over there and charge them
And he loves it because he can fly his drone wherever he wants with no restrictions.
Oh, really? Oh, I never thought
There's
of
no
that.
rules over there. You just do whatever you want. They don't care.
Awesome. And he's a celebrity. He was telling me he's walking down the street there because he's a ginger.
Very pale ginger.
So yell out to Adam
Yeah.
if you're listening to.
So that almost wraps us up for this episode, actually.
Oh, really?
We're doing quite well.
We did cover a lot.
We did. So there will be lots of let me start again. There will be lots of show notes, links, and videos, if I can find them, on the Chris and Sam podcast. That's dinging because it can't auto-save something. I don't know.
We're still recording this time.
Yeah, at the moment. I'm honestly so close to throwing this out the window, but
Yeah, well,
don't worry about that.
When my tax refund comes, which might be a while now, it's getting a new gaming rig for me upstairs, and my old computer, which is pretty grunty still, will be down here.
Be, repurposed for the podcast studio.
Yes. So that'd be cool.
So where else can they find us, Chris?
They can find us on Facebook, the Chris and Sam podcast.
Yep, have a like. Leave a comment if you want, or just have a yarn. It'd be good.
And questions. Ask us some questions of anything you want us to cover in here.
Next time we will do that live on Twitter because that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Responses.
Yeah.
That's good.
Totally. And and also, so we're in there. You can check us online where all the show notes will be. thechrisandsampodcast.com.
Yes.
The two light bulb heads. You will see that, and just pop into the relevant episode, and you'll see all the show notes and bits and pieces.
Yeah, and we'll keep you up to date with how this diet bet thing's going.
Yes.
It may be crash and burn, or it might be epic. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I'm already sort of regretting saying yes and paying. I've put the money in. Oh, we didn't explain how that works. So everybody who goes in puts money in.
Yeah, whatever.
Those who make it to
separators.
the end, the money's divided between them.
So we have to lose 4% of our body weight in 4 weeks.
Yeah. So if we fail to do that, or we drop out partway through, we don't get our money back, but somebody else does.
I am hoping that some of these Americans don't pull through because the dollar's so crap at the moment. I'll take their American dollars.
So they're all putting $30 in. Ours came to
$45.70.
Yeah, $45. It's like, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, let it ride, and then when it comes back, our dollar had fallen lower. We'll make a killing on this.
Yeah, we should have a good profit, hopefully. So anyway, until next time, I'm Sam.
And I'm Chris.
Thanks for listening.
Take it easy.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you next week. Don't forget to tell your friend.